At the end of his life, Nikola Tesla was not living in a mansion, not collecting royalties, and not enjoying the wealth his ideas should have brought him. He died alone in room 3327 of the Hotel New Yorker on January 7, 1943, at the age of 86. The man who helped shape the modern electrical world passed away, broke, while much of the future he imagined was still waiting to be built. And that raises a painful question. How did one of history's greatest inventors end up with so little? The answer is not one single event. It was a chain of genius, sacrifice, ambition, and one decision that would follow him for the rest of his life. To understand Tesla's biggest mistake, you have to start at the beginning. Nikola Tesla was born at midnight during an electrical storm on July 10, 1856 in Smiljan, then part of the Austrian Empire, now modern-day Croatia. His father, Milutin, was an Orthodox priest, while his mother, Juka Mandic, had no formal education, but was gifted at inventing household tools. Tesla later credited his mother's inventive nature for much of his own creative ability. His childhood was also marked by trauma. At just 5 years old, he witnessed the death of his older brother, Dane, in a riding accident. That event haunted him for the rest of his life and may have helped shape the obsessive traits that later defined him. Tesla became known as a mental calculator who could perform integral calculus in his head. Teachers thought he was cheating. He also had an eidetic memory and could visualize complex machines in exact detail without needing sketches or drafts. He studied at the Graz Polytechnic in Austria, but never graduated. His time there ended after a gambling addiction led to a breakdown. Even then, the pattern was already clear. Extraordinary brilliance, intense mental pressure, and a life that never seemed to move in a straight line. Tesla's greatest public battle came in the war over electricity itself. Thomas Edison backed direct current, or DC, while Tesla, supported by George Westinghouse, pushed alternating current, or AC. The difference mattered. DC could not be changed easily, which limited how far electricity could be transmitted. AC, by contrast, could be stepped up through transformers to high voltage and sent efficiently over long distances. This was not just a technical disagreement, it was a fight for the future. In 1893, Westinghouse won the bid to light the world's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, proving AC could power an enormous public event safely and efficiently. Then, in 1896, Tesla helped design the first large-scale hydroelectric plant at Niagara Falls, fulfilling a dream he had carried since childhood. That system successfully transmitted power to Buffalo, New York, and became a landmark moment in the history of electricity. Edison did not simply compete, he attacked. He tried to make AC look dangerous, even participating in public animal electrocutions and supporting the development of the electric chair powered by AC, a campaign that came to be associated with the ugly phrase Westinghousing. Tesla won the technical war, but the public fight was brutal, expensive, and deeply personal. Tesla's inventions were often so far ahead of their era that people struggled to understand them. In 1887, he developed the induction motor, which became one of his most valued discoveries. It used a rotating magnetic field and removed the need for inefficient mechanical commutators. In 1891, he created the Tesla coil, a high-frequency resonant transformer that later became important in wireless lighting, radio experiments, and his attempts at global energy transmission. He also worked on radio before many people realized what radio could become. While Guglielmo Marconi is often given the credit, the U.S. Supreme Court later recognized Tesla's earlier patents as part of the fundamental principles behind tuned circuits in radio transmission. In 1898, Tesla demonstrated a radio-controlled boat at Madison Square Garden. People watching it could hardly believe it was real. Some thought it was magic. Others thought it was trained animals. It was neither. It was Tesla, once again, arriving before the world was ready. He even experimented with shadowgraphs and captured X-ray images before Wilhelm Röntgen's official announcement. Tesla was not just inventing devices, he was opening doors to entire fields before most scientists had even stepped inside them. And yet, for all his brilliance, Tesla made one decision that may have cost him the fortune he deserved. During the Panic of 1890, Tesla reportedly tore up his royalty contract in order to save Westinghouse's company from bankruptcy. That act may have spared Westinghouse from collapse, but it also meant Tesla gave up millions in immediate debt relief and billions in future royalties. Some research suggests Westinghouse may instead have purchased the patents for a lump sum of $216,000. Either way, the result was the same. Tesla walked away from the kind of financial deal that could have changed his life forever. This was Tesla's biggest mistake. He trusted the importance of the mission more than the importance of protecting his own future. He believed invention should serve progress, not profit. But the world he lived in rewarded ownership, contracts, and control. Tesla had the ideas, others had the leverage. After that, Tesla poured himself into one of his most ambitious projects, Wardenclyffe Tower. Built between 1901 and 1906 on Long Island, it was meant to create global wireless communication and free power for the world. It was a bold, almost impossible dream. Backed by J.P. Morgan with $150,000, the project began with real promise. But the plan failed. Morgan pulled support after Marconi achieved simpler radio success and after it became clear that wireless energy would be difficult to monetize through meters and billing systems. Tesla's vision may have been bigger than the market was ready to accept. The tower never became the future he imagined. Instead, Tesla mortgaged Wardenclyffe just to pay hotel bills. In 1917, the tower was demolished for scrap. That image says everything about Tesla's life. A man trying to build tomorrow while struggling to survive today. Tesla was ascetic, celibate, and intensely focused. He believed chastity helped his scientific work. He also showed signs of obsessive-compulsive behavior, including an obsession with the number 3 and a strong fear of germs and pearls. These traits shaped both his discipline and his isolation. As he grew older, he withdrew further from society. He became deeply attached to feeding pigeons in New York City parks and famously said he loved one white pigeon as a man loves a woman. That detail is often repeated because it reveals how alone he had become. The man who dreamed of powering the planet spent his later years speaking more to pigeons than to people. Even in old age, Tesla was still talking about ideas that sounded impossible. He claimed to have developed Teleforce, a particle beam weapon that could shoot down 10,000 airplanes from 250 miles away and end all war. Whether the world believed him or not, Tesla never stopped thinking on a scale that most people could barely imagine. When he died in 1943, his papers did not simply disappear into history. The FBI and the Office of Alien Property seized 80 trunks of his documents, concerned that advanced technology could fall into the wrong hands during wartime. John G. Trump, the MIT physicist and uncle of Donald J. Trump, later reviewed the papers and concluded they contained nothing of immediate military danger, describing them as speculative and philosophical. Tesla's story did not end there. In 1952, his estate was shipped to Belgrade, Serbia, and the Nikola Tesla Museum was later built around his legacy, now holding more than 160,000 of his documents. In 1960, the SI unit for magnetic flux density was named the Tesla in his honor, and the three-phase AC system he helped develop remains the standard for power generation and distribution around the world today. Nikola Tesla did not die forgotten because he lacked genius. He died broke because he often chose the future over money, the idea over the contract, and the dream over his own security. That made him one of the purest inventors in history. But it also made him vulnerable in a world that rarely rewards purity. His biggest mistake was not inventing too much, it was giving away too much of what he created. And maybe that is why Tesla still matters. He reminds us that brilliance without protection can be costly, and that changing the world does not always protect you from the world's rules. If this story moved you, like the video, subscribe for more real stories about the minds that built history and comment Tesla if you want more documentary scripts like this one.